Hi, boys and girls. Jane and I are back again at Renfrew, and we're doing some more summer stories today, brought to you by the Institute at Renfrew. I had such a good time reading you Thomas's Snowsuit, so I thought I'd choose another one today by the same author, Robert Munsch. And this one is called Stephanie's Ponytail. One day, Stephanie went to her mom and said, "None of the kids in my class at school has a ponytail. I want a nice ponytail coming right out the back of my head." So Stephanie's mom gave her a nice ponytail coming right out the back. When Stephanie went to school, the other kids looked at her and said, "Ugly, ugly, very ugly." Stephanie said, "It's my ponytail and I like it." The next morning, when Stephanie went to school, all the other girls had ponytails coming out the back. Stephanie looked at them and said, "You are all a bunch of copycats. You just do whatever I do. You don't have a brain in your head." So the next morning, Mom said, "Stephanie, would you like a ponytail coming out the back?" And Stephanie said, "No." "Then that's that," said her mom. "That's the only place you can do ponytails." "No, it's not," said Stephanie. "I want one coming out the side just above my ear." "Very strange," said her mom. "Are you sure that's what you want?" "Yes," said Stephanie. So her mom gave her a very nice ponytail coming out right above her ear. I've seen those ponytails. That looks nice. What do you suppose the girls are going to do at school when they see her? When she went to school the next day, the other kids saw her and said, "Ugly, ugly, very ugly." Stephanie said, "It's my ponytail and I like it." The next morning, when Stephanie came to school, all the girls and even some of the boys had nice ponytails coming out just above their ear. Look at this boy. He has a ponytail. The next morning, the mom said, "Stephanie, would you like a ponytail coming out the back?" Stephanie said, "No, no." "Would you like one coming out the side?" "No." "Then that's that," said her mom. "There is no other place you can do ponytails." "Oh, yes, there is," said Stephanie. "I want one coming out the top of my head like a tree." "That's very, very strange," said her mom. "Are you sure you want one like that?" "Yes," said Stephanie. So there's Mom. So her mom gave Stephanie a nice ponytail coming out the top of her head, just like a tree. When Stephanie went to school, the other kids saw her and said, "Ugly, ugly, very ugly." Stephanie said, "It's my ponytail and I like it." The next day, you guessed it, all of the girls and all of the boys had ponytails coming out the top of their head. It looked like broccoli was growing out of their heads. Now, look at the picture. Look at the dogs and the cats, and even the birds in the trees have ponytails coming out the top of their head. The next morning, Mom said, "Stephanie, would you like a ponytail coming out the back?" Stephanie said, "No." "Would you like one coming out the side?" "No." "Would you like one coming out the top?" "No." Then that is definitely that, said Mom. There is no other place you can do ponytails. Yes, there is, she said. I want one coming out the front and hanging down in front of my nose. But nobody will know if you are coming or going, her mom said. Are you sure that is what you want? Yes, said Stephanie. So her mom gave her a ponytail coming out the front. And on the way to school, she bumped into 4 trees, 3 cars, 2 houses, and 1 principal. When she finally got to her class, the other kids saw her and said, ugly, ugly, very ugly. And Stephanie said, it's my ponytail, and I like it. The next day, all of the girls and all of the boys and even the teacher had ponytails coming out the front and hanging down in front of their noses. None of them could see where they were going. They bumped into the desks and they bumped into each other. They bumped into the walls, and by mistake, 3 girls went into the boys' bathroom. Stephanie yelled. You are a bunch of brainless copycats. You just do whatever I do. When I come tomorrow, I am going to have shaved my head. Oh my. I wonder what they're going to do. The first person to come the next day was the teacher. She had shaved her head and she was bald. The next to come were the boys. They had shaved their heads and they were bald. The next to come were the girls. They had shaved their heads and they were all bald. The last person to come was Stephanie, and she had a nice little ponytail coming right out the back. Uh-oh. She tricked them and they were not happy.
I'm going to read to you The Great Fuzz Frenzy, another silly book. This is by Janet Stevens and Susan Stevens Crummell. These little guys on the front, they're prairie dogs. They live under the ground out west. We don't have any prairie dogs around here. The Great Fuzz Frenzy. There's a dog named Violet, and she's looking at the prairie dogs. She's got something in her mouth. The Great Fuzz Frenzy. Violet, where's the ball? Uh-oh. Down it went. Boink, boink. Run for your life! Thump, thump. Watch out below! Rumble, rumble. Help! 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 Plunk. There it sat, perfectly still. The prairie dogs waited, perfectly still. I don't think they've ever seen anything like that. Slowly, they crept out, inch by inch, dog by dog. What is it? A thing? A good thing or a bad thing? A round thing? A strange thing? A scary thing? What should we do? Don't touch it. Is it alive? Shh. Stand back, boomed a voice. You act like gutless groundhogs, afraid of your own shadow. Oh no, it's Big Bark. Big Mouth is more like it. He's the meanest dog around. I thought he left town. Well, I'm back, growled Big Bark. So out of my way. Let me have a look. Big Bark. On top of his head. What that is. But before anyone could move, little Pipsqueak raced past Big Bark, reached out and poked the big round thing. No! The crowd yelled. It's Fuzzy, said Pip. Oh, the crowd gasped. A tiny piece of fuzz was caught in Pip's claw. She looked at it, turned it, sniffed it. Then she put it on her head. Ha, look at me! Oh, the crowd sighed. Quit hamming it up, you half-pint hamster, snarled Big Bark. I'm in charge. But these prairie dogs didn't listen. They had to have fuzz. I like it. Me too. I want some. Do you? Oh, yes, so do I. So do we. So do they. Big Bark, move over. Get out of our way. They charged past him and grabbed at the fuzz. All those little prairie dog hands in there grabbing the fuzz. Gotta have it. The prairie dogs pulled it, puffed it, stretched it, fluffed it, tugged it, twirled it, spiked it, swirled it. They fuzzed their ears, their heads, their noses. They fuzzed their feet, their tails, and their toeses. Big Bark was beside himself. Listen to me, you ridiculous rodents. Stop this fuzzish foolishness. That's hard to say. What they're doing with the fuzz. It's all over them. But those prairie dogs didn't listen. They were busy being hot dogs and silly dogs, corny dogs and frilly dogs, top dogs, funny dogs, super dogs, bunny dogs. You're all nuts, you squirrely fuzz freaks, yelled Big Bark, storming off. News of the fuzz spread from hole to hole, burrow to burrow, town to town. Soon, prairie dogs from everywhere were coming to see that fuzz. They came, they saw, they picked. They twisted it, braided it, danced and paraded it. It was a fuzz frenzy, a fuzz fiesta, a fuzz fandango. The whole prairie was abuzz about fuzz. They picked and pruned and pulled and pinched. They pinched and pulled and pruned and picked until the fuzz ran out. The big round thing was fuzzless, naked as a plucked chicken. Some prairie dogs got a lot of fuzz, some got a little, and some got no fuzz at all, and they were mad. Give me that fuzz! Why? Because it's my fuzz. Well, it was. Get that fuzz! Get that fuzz! No, they're fighting over the fuzz. Pulling, grabbing, swiping, nabbing, poking, jabbing, it was war. War between the fuzzes and the fuzz knots. Their peaceful town was a battleground. It was a fuzz fight, a fuzz feud, a fuzz fiasco. I started this, moaned Pipsqueak. I have to do something. Everyone, stop! Stop fighting! Poor Pipsqueak. But those prairie dogs didn't listen. The battle raged on, friend against friend, cousin against cousin, dog against dog, until no one was left standing. They were pooped, fuzzled out, fast asleep. Got 'em. Hours later, the prairie dogs began to stir. Uh-oh, where's the fuzz? I don't know. Where did it go? Someone has stolen our fuzz, cried Pipsqueak. Who did? He did. She did. You did. I did, barked a voice from above. I stole the fuzz. The prairie dogs froze. Then they raced up, up, up the long tunnel. There stood Big Bark, covered with fuzz from head to tail. I'm king of the fuzz, he snarled. Do you hear me? I'm king of the... Swoop! The sky went black. What is that? What happened? Where's Big Bark? Look! There he was, high above their heads, dangling from the talons of an eagle. No more Big Bark, the crowd cheered. Yay! Don't yay! He's one of us, yelled Pip. We have to save him. How would you like to be in an eagle's lunch? No, the crowd yelled. That Pipsqueak, he's a good guy. Big Bark, wiggle free, the prairie dog shouted. Shake loose, hurry, we'll catch you. Big Bark twisted and turned, wormed and squirmed. At last he was free of the fuzz. Yay! The crowd cheered. Big Bark fell faster and faster. No! The prairie dogs scattered. Get back here, yelled Pip. Quick! Make a circle. Hold out your paws. They ran left, then right, then left. Plop! You saved me, Big Bark cried. But I stole your fuzz, and now it's gone forever. Good, said Pipsqueak. Fuzz is trouble, right? Yay, the crowd cheered. Friends hugged friend, cousin hugged cousin, dog hugged dog. We don't need fuzz, said Pip. But with Eagle around, we do need a watchdog with a big... Bark! Big Bark rose up on his hind legs. Eagle back! Bark! This is not a test! Bark! All dogs below! Bark! The prairie dogs raced down, down, down the long tunnel. Look at the fuzz on the head of the eagle. Phew, we made it. That was close. 3 cheers for Big Bark, the best watchdog ever. Yip, yip, yay! Yip, yip, yay! Yip, yip, yay! Just doing my job, Big Bark smiled. Are we ever getting tangled up with Fuzz again? Cried Pipsqueak. No, the crowd yelled. No more Fuzz! No more Fuzz! And from that day forward, the prairie dogs lived happily and fuzzlessly ever after. Uh-oh. The end.